The Lawrence Stormwater Advisory Board is called to order at this time. Let the record show we have a quorum present to do business. I need a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes from the meeting of April 26, 2021.
Mr. Chairman, so moved. We need to announce our names too, Renee?
No, because I'm sitting here.
Okay. Well, the other, they make us say our names too,
Yeah.
so I was curious.
I second the motion.
And then we need to vote.
All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye. Those opposed? We have no unfinished business, so we'll move right on to new business. We have before us the approval of the 2022 stormwater budget. Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, I think you have a presentation from the city administration.
There's no questions. That'd be awesome, but
Will be,
we have it pulled up in here. Oh, you guys don't need it.
no, there's something else in there now.
That's fine. Does everyone have a copy with them?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Well, we'll just kind of jump right into it. So, just looking at page 2, I kind of want to draw your attention to the beginning cash balance, which is at the bottom of that. So we were going to project ending this year with 1.8 million, so we're in a pretty good cash position. The reason for that is because the 2021 budget was actually to collect 2020's revenue, but we actually received 2021's this year as well, so we kind of doubled up. So we have a pretty good cash position. That puts us in a good position for next year. So we're going to project about 2 million in revenue, and what we are actually looking to do, and you'll see in debt service is 1.4 million. So we're actually engaging some talks to look at financing $10 to $14 million worth of projects, and that's what the extra $1 million will cover. The remaining 400,000 will be our debt service share to Indianapolis. And then we'll still end with a nice cushion there at the end of 892,000. So we'll still be in a healthy position by the end of 2022.
I can just clarify some of that too, that if you look at the page 3 of that, so bottom line is we are trying to bond Stormwater to do some bigger projects. So Tyler and I are working with to try to get, bond our revenue for the next 10 or 15 years to get like 10 to $14 million, so we can catch up on projects that we need to catch up on. Otherwise, with just the $2 million every year, we will not be able to do what we want to do for a bigger drainage project. We'll be able to do some maintenance here and there, but to fix the whole problem, we'll have to do some major projects to, address some of the drainages in the bigger. So that's what we're gonna do with this year is after once board approves the project, this budget, we'll have another meeting where we will present the board the resolution for the bond and stuff like that, and with some projects identified. So if you look at the page 3 of this, we show a principal of around $900,000, which is basically our bond principal, and we are also in the next up to 2034 we have our 20. Brian, help me. The Indianapolis debt payment is until what, 2024?
To the back of this.
It goes through 2042.
2042. So that principal 900,000 includes the principal for our bonds and also the debt payment that's going to cover Indianapolis. It's around 300,000+ every year for the next. And then the interest portion is the interest portion for our bond. That when we get the bond, that's approximately what we are thinking about. We'll pay for interest. So so that's around 1.4 million that we'll be, spending every year towards that. But that will help us catch up some of the bigger projects and also leave some money for any maintenance that will come in. It's not we are not taking all the revenue. We are only spending a portion of the revenue towards principal and interest, and we still have some money set aside to do maintenance or rush needed projects.
So do we owe Indianapolis until
2042?
2042?
Yeah, if you look at the 4th page,
Then our payments stop going to Indianapolis at that point?
so if you look at the last page, it'll show you what the prorated debt payments are for every year starting 2022. We already made a payment for this year already, so.
So is Indianapolis saying they've already invested $7 million in Lawrence already?
No, if I can, the agreement that we entered into, the statutory provision for withdrawing from the Stormwater District, the Marion County Stormwater District, requires the withdrawing excluded city to continue to carry its pro rata portion of existing indebtedness, whether or not it was invested in the city. So we did use the fact that they had not used proceeds that were collected here for investment in the city as part of our discussions and received favorable terms. We reported to those to you once, probably 2 meetings ago. I'd be happy to outline those for you again. Since you meet infrequently, it's kind of hard to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Perhaps what I'll do is I'll put together an outline of it that you can keep with your materials that will be a refresher for you then.
Okay, sounds
So,
good.
and I'm uncertain about the tendering of last year's stormwater fees, which they were to do.
Yeah, we already
Yes,
paid.
We received.
We
Does it say more
received,
it's
we also,
received?
yeah,
Yeah.
City of Lawrence received that, and we also paid the first half of the prorated debt for 2021. So and part of the deal was they also agreed to do two projects that were already in design. So that is roughly around $5 to $6 million worth of projects they're still continuing to do, and that should be completed by next year.
That was the item that we negotiated with the
Correct.
street to make the pot right, or relatively right, from the past collection.
Okay. Or the Pogues Run, I assume, maybe, or?
One is the Richard Avenue Phase 2. They did the Phase 1 last year. Now they are doing the rest of the Richard Avenue 48th Street project. And another one is the Trades District, the Sellers Island Street project, which is going
Back
to
in the
address all that.
industrial park area.
Correct, which will connect to Polk's Run. I'll be happy to answer any more questions or how some budget.
Good job.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll entertain a motion for approval.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I second.
Thank you. Moving forward, I guess we have to signify by either saying aye or nay. Are there any comments from the administration?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a small presentation, if I may.
You may.
In the neighborhood in which I live, it's not, like I said, it's not just me, it's the whole area you see on this map right here. I've kind of highlighted the streams in this white mark out. But it starts over here in some of the retention ponds over in Stansbury. All this runs over here and crosses into the Tritipo stream. And the Tritipo stream runs all the way back down through the back of the Maywood Trailer Park. Then you have the nursery right here. This picture right here that you see is right here where it crosses over the pipe. If you want to keep scrolling with some more pictures here, I'll point some things out. That's the culvert pipe that's coming underneath 65th Street right here. And the street is starting to undermine and collapse right there, and they keep putting asphalt in it, but I don't know if I got a picture of that or not. And this part right here that you see, this is where it's coming in behind the Maywood Trailer Park. Everybody up here, they take care of the stream where it goes through their backyard. We keep it clean, we keep it mowed, we keep it cut. I don't understand why the city of Lawrence should have to pay to clean out their ditch or to clean out this nursery's ditch. And we should be able to just send them a letter telling them that you are being required to clean out your ditch. If you'll see in some of these pictures right here, it's almost impossible for water to even make it down here to Pendleton Pike at times. Dumping concrete over into the side of the ditch, that's behind the trailer park. There's engines and transmissions in the water. If you look real hard, you can see it. Keep going, Brian. This is all behind the Maywood Trailer Park right here.
It's like here, right?
It is about this stretch right through here. Only a small part of it belongs to the nursery property on down here. But it just keeps collecting logs and limbs. This is the bridge that crosses over right here. There's a little bit of property over here that crosses over the stream, but that's their makeshift bridge so that they can park campers and motorboats back here.
That a private bridge, it's been,
Yeah, that they put across the stream. And for the most part, it's got three pipes in it, it flows pretty well. Now we're getting into Doug Smith's property where he's actually got, see that privacy fence right there? It's actually going all the way across the ditch where the water can't even get through it. I mean, it's washed out right now. You keep going, you'll see his bridge. Look at his bridge. One little pipe full of stone. Yeah, he's just literally throwing all of his trash and debris.
And this is a nursery property?
Yeah, I call it the nursery property. I don't really want to say the guy's name, but it's 12345 Pendleton Pike.
And did I just see a single culvert pipe under that bridge, which is really restricting the
no
flow
idea
of
what
water?
happened here.
Technology issues.
Did you maybe unplug it from the floor?
Oh, yeah.
No?
No.
Oh, it's,
There it goes, and then go back up. Click on another and see if it works.
No.
It's,
It's saying no HDMI.
as you can see in the pictures.
yeah, no, it's,
Yeah, that's the other side of the bridge right there. Look at that.
Wow.
So it's not only just a single culvert pipe, but it's partially blocked.
It's partially collapsed, yes. And by him blocking the ditch, it's causing all this water to back up. In just a mile of rain, it'll back up. And this property from about right here all the way down to Pendleton Pike, these guys need to clean their ditch. These guys need to clean their ditch. I don't know why the city of Lawrence should have to pay for it. People keep talking about Lawrence needs to get in there and clean it out. It's on your property,
So-
you need to maintain it.
before we go, so there might be a regulated ditch.
Yeah.
Looking at the extent of the ditch, this might be a very well a regulated ditch, which means it's a.
It is, I've got it up on my map.
So that means that it has to be maintained by either city or a public agency, because, which is good, which means that we have the power to go and clean it up and fix it, and prevent them from going and remove anything that they illegally built over the ditch, which is a good thing, because, I mean, I know they don't want to do it anyways, even if it is their ditch. Now, with the regulated ditch, we have the power to go and do it.
Yeah, and he's threatened the city of Lawrence before, if you come on my property, I'm gonna sue you.
I mean, yeah.
But if you
that's
see right
fine.
here, this is where it comes under Pendleton Pike at. I mean, it takes in water from over here at Austin Trace, comes around, it goes under the trailer park. It takes on water from back over here at Stansbury. This is where the Trinidad actually starts. And now we're taking in Sagebrook, we're taking in the water from over here off of Carroll Road and East 62nd Street. All this water flows right through this stretch. That's why it backs up so quickly.
The good thing with regulated ditches, state has more control on the regulated ditch than us, so DNR and I don't, will be very well involved if we start building stuff on regulated ditches.
I'm
which
gonna
is-
leave these with you.
Yeah,
But
so,
these represent the actual creeks and culverts and how they.
but the issue is on the north side, this comes.
Right here, it's this stretch from here to here. This is all just so cluttered up with debris, tires, trees, trash.
I mean, where's that area compared to this?
Right here, it's right here.
Oh, is that area, okay, gotcha, okay.
Does the regulated ditch have a name and what you're looking at?
Tritipo ditch.
Critical ditch.
Tritipo, Trittipo.
Samuel
TRI.
does that ditch.
Say it again.
Trittipo.
Somebody's name.
Yes.
Samuel Trudeau.
Mm-hmm.
His family put it in back in the 1800s. This was all farmed by
Yeah,
the
this-
Trudeaus.
The good thing is, like I said, we are setting aside money to do bigger projects, and I have a consultant on board looking at projects. So what I'll do is I'll ship this information to them, and they are looking at a bunch of other areas too. So this will be a project by itself, and they have to work with IDEM and DNR, and all that thing has to happen, and they'll, once it becomes a project, they will do all that stuff.
So do you know, Sri, in Marion County, who the regulator is?
Usually it's in a
It's
regular.
normally the county surveyor.
Yeah.
But under Unigov, I'm not certain.
Marion County Stormwater, I mean, like, there is a counter, I know who it is, but I can't get the.
Yeah, so the Drainage Board became the Stormwater Board, and now that we're out, have our own stormwater district, we'll have to figure out
Yeah.
how the.
But usually in a regulated ditch like that, DNR or IDEM will have a much more say on it, and the last thing they want to do is to build over regulated ditches. And it's,
Yeah, when you have all three agencies.
we have all three agencies, we can, but like I said, once my consultant starts looking into this, they have done this kind of stuff, so they will know where to start or when to start, and it will eventually become a big project.
I went to Marion County Soil and Water Conservation.
Yeah, that's the one,
Soil and water.
I've talked to them, and I've actually got the gal's name and number. But when I moved in here 18 years ago, he didn't have any of this stuff really going on. Plus, you got Austin Trace, you got Weaver's Landing, you got Sagebrook, you got Stansbury. And now when you get a pretty decent rain, you get gully washers coming through there, not just, it used to be just little trickles as hard as it rained, but now it's washing bank away.
I mean, this is coming to me in the right time, we are looking at different project areas, so this would be.
I know that, we all know that our yards are in floodplains. I don't care if the yard floods, I know it goes back down, but now it don't go down very fast. And when it
Because
does come,
you are blocking the full line. and
Yeah,
the ditch line.
I used to be able to ride my lawnmower between the ditch and the tree line. Now I can't even ride my mower between the tree and the ditch line because the banks have all been washed away.
People have built across it too, so like I said, let's just leave it with me,
I'll leave that flash drive for
Yep.
you too.
and this one, and then
And
we'll.
you can have all this
Yep.
and go through it at your leisure.
Yeah, no, I'll gonna, because I need to come up with the project list in the next month, so this is gonna go to the
That's what I
consultant.
wanted to do, is see if we could add this to our
Oh, yeah.
list. I saw our list, and I'd like to make a motion to add it to the list.
Yeah, I mean, like, so basically what is gonna happen is, like I
He's
said,
going to fight you, I'll tell you.
I mean,
that.
when we do stuff, we do it the legal right way, legal way, right? We just send out notices, we go through the proper permitting process with DNR and IDEM to work on it. And then once we have the permits, he can fight it all he wants. If
And
it is-
he fought Tom Snyder too, back in the day.
Yeah, but like I said, we'll do it in the right way, and if my designer comes back and says, "Sri, we can't touch it, this is their own ditch," then there is an issue there. It is a regulated ditch, usually we have more power, and IDEM has more power than DNR has more
If
power.
your ditch is affecting other people, you,
It is a tricky scenario.
Yeah, it's a regulated ditch, there's statutory.
Yeah, if it is a regulated ditch, then a
Requirements and
statutory
regulatory.
requirement,
I mean, if
just like Fall Creek or,
if you're doing something that's affecting other people's property, I think that's against the law.
Depends. There is something called a common enemy doctrine where you can raise your property 10 feet high, and as long as the water goes down, gravity, to the next property, you can't do anything in there.
Yeah, riparian rights is a complicated arena, so that's what it's
I
called,
found out something
riparian
called a
rights.
common enemy doctrine.
Yeah, the common enemy too, yeah.
So water is a common enemy. You can raise it up, and you can flood your neighbor, as long as your water is going down with gravity. And then when I tell this to people, they don't like it, but that's the truth.
So I would not make a motion tonight to add it to the project list, because the project list's not before you, but you've made a recommendation to the city engineer to add it.
Yeah, so.
And the project list will eventually come here.
Yeah, so
for
basically as
approval.
part of the, this is something that the part of the administration comments I want to say. As part of the bond process, there will be a special meeting sometime in September, which will, the reason is we have to identify the projects and then bring it up to the Stormwater Board as part of the statutory requirement. So
Okay.
we'll look at that, and that's why I said my designer will look at it, and maybe add it as a project, and then once that's approved through the board, it will go to the council and everything. So that will be a special meeting sometime in September to add that, to bring up that project list for the bond, that's part of the deal. And then there will be another, in the October meeting, you guys will be hearing the resolution for the bond just before the council meeting.
Just so that you know right here, this comes out of Austin Trace and it comes down through Bill Clark's land. It's actually made its own path to a culvert. It goes under the trailer park and comes back out down here and then dumps into the street too.
I mean, once the consultant starts looking, he'll look at the whole watershed, he'll look at the whole area, and he doesn't want to do something and then it blacks out this one. So we'll look at it. That's why it could be very well by itself a project.
You can see the arrows showing the flow, how it's flowing.
Yep.
Just,
So, yeah, so like I said, we are gonna come back to you with the project list anyway, so we'll add this to the project list along with other areas and,
Okay.
all right?
Yeah, you can take that flash drive, I've got a copy of it, so.
All right, can I just take, this is
Sure,
not,
just pull it out.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Shrai.
Yeah, I think a few comments. One thing is, like with the money coming to us starting last year, we have been able to catch up on a lot of the smaller maintenance kind of work. So we have a contractor on board, which I feed him list every so often, and he'll go fix, pipes that are coming, falling apart, sinkholes. So we've been able to do a lot of catching up on those kind of work, which we never could. We had to rely on street department, and they don't have enough time. Now we have a separate contractor who is helping me just fixing drainage issues. So he does it every day. I give him a list, he finishes it up. We give him the next list based on the complaints we receive. So that's going very, very well. We are catching up on a lot of those things that we never was able to. I think that's something I want to put it out in here, that we're starting to do a lot of repair work. O&M, I would call it operations maintenance work. And I'm hoping that once the council approves the bond after your approval, we should be able to catch up on bigger projects like this. There are several areas that are underwater on smaller storms with no infrastructure for stormwater. So this is one. So we should be able to catch up in the next 3-4 years. We should be able to, at least get a decent stormwater infrastructure in the city.
Thank you, Shrai. Are there any other comments from administration?
I'm good, sir.
I don't have anything to add.
No. Like I said, there will be a special meeting in September to hear the project list before it comes to you for the board, for the bond. So that is a statutory requirement. So Renee will, let you guys know that I'm still waiting on that initial analysis from my consultant on the projects. Now this will be added. So once I have that list, I'll work with Renee to schedule that meeting a few days in advance.
Mr. Chairman, may I make another comment, please?
Yes, sir.
Just so that you know, all that goes right into Indian Lake.
Oh, okay.
All the sediment that's being washed off of the banks and out of the creeks and stuff is all heading, that's why they have their own dredger over there in Indian Lake.
And this is, depending on how we go with the project and what, this is gonna, if people have built old regulated ditches, once we do the project, all those structures might come out. That's gonna make some people unhappy who has done without permits, Usually you have to get an item permit and, 401, 401K permit to just build stuff on floodplains. Like,
There's some pictures in there of dump trucks of dirt being dumped back there where he's built the property up in a flood zone.
Yeah, it is, and you need a 401, 404 permit to even build it.
He built it up in a flood
I mean,
zone.
it's very common that people don't just hide under and then do it, and now when we actually do the project, all's gonna come out.
Okay?
Anything else, David?
I'm good. I'll talk to him a little bit after the meeting.
Fine. Are there any citizens' comments? Having no comments from the citizenry, there's no further business. The board will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion.
I second.
Mr. Chairman, I
All
second.
in favor?
Aye.
Nay. Meeting's adjourned.